Hi there guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VII. Today we are actually ending the entire Midgar sequence of the game, and what I actually personally feel will be the end of the first game of Final Fantasy VII. Like the remake, that is. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's just going to be Disc 1, but I don't know. I feel like the way they're expanding Midgar and stuff, they're going to make it a lot longer. Also, this part is going to feature a lot more editing, because I realized, man, there's a lot I can cut out. Such as this whole encounter here, with these two ball bots, whose name I totally forget, but they do have a really good item on them, which is the carbon bangle. Now, being a really good item, getting them is actually super difficult. So I show off here a bit how I just, basically guard with my other two and just have Red 13 steal over and over, and I do eventually cut because this ended up going for 4 minutes, which isn't a lot until you realized I did put on the 3x speed thing. The 3x speed booster. I actually ended up killing one of them for some reason. I don't think I got the carbon bangle. I might have got it actually, the other one, I don't remember. But yeah, no, so I finally got it there, and then I'm like, oh my god, you can die now. It's annoying trying to get items like that, but man, that 3x booster is really nice, because otherwise I would have been there for like 12 minutes or something. But we did get the carbon bangle, which is, as you can see, really good. 27 defense. Yeah, no, we got 2 of them, as you can see. 27 defense is really nice at this time. You're going to want it for later on, even if you're not putting it on your main characters or anyone. So we're going to go up a bit. See this room that we were in before? And I'm just like, wait, do I go up? No. I was very lost. That cut there was because I was looking at a guide, again. And I don't even remember doing this, but I guess what we do have to do is head back down. See this person, we're just going to avoid them. They won't care about us. I mean, even though they see us fighting everyone, it doesn't really matter super much. Let's head out down back to the nice break room floor. The really nice wide open one, you know, the one. I thought it was a food court, but it's probably just a staff lounge if we just look at it. I mean, my first thought upon looking at this floor here is, oh, look at them. It's like a food court, right? There's no place to get food, but it looks like a food court to me. So, with that said, we're going to try going up this elevator here, because I'm sure, really, if there's one way to get up to the top floor, it's just taking a random elevator. I'm sure absolutely nothing will go wrong by us getting into a random elevator. Especially meeting up with this guy, who's his name is Rude, but he's not being very rude. He's just asking us to go upstairs, you know. Except, our plan didn't really work, it seems. That's okay, because, I mean, really, it's taking us right to where we have to go. Did we just go right into the enemy's hands? Or did we instead go and do it for ourselves? That's, I guess, up to you to decide. Or wait for the remake to totally fill it out more. Because, as I said, I'm expecting this to be... This feels like after you'll see after. This is such a climactic thing. I feel like they could expand this entire thing out to be the first game. You know, like, they'll have to do a lot of expanding, mind you. Like, I'm expecting a lot of side quests. I'm expecting a lot of free roam time in the middle there. But, I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, all things considered. Whenever something comes like this, it's like I'm probably wrong. Look at that giant text box. You know you're in for a good time when the text box takes up literally half the screen. And it's really, people have gotten used to the whole fact that Red 13 is a talking dog really quickly. And he knows, a good amount of stuff. So I'm happy he just happily joined our party so easily and quietly. Also, real talk, so we got Cloud, Tifa, and Barret all locked up with their hands. How is Red 13 locked up? What did they do to him? I mean, he has to be able to walk. So, but what did they do? That's a question that, again, will be answered in the remake. But here we're learning, I guess learning, we're hearing firsthand the President's scheme, if you will. And it's basically, harness the Mako, build Neo Midgar, and just get money. That's it. He just wants to get rich. He is just the Donald Trump of... I'm not going to say that because now I'm going to be flagged to hell and back. Too bad. I've already said it. Whoops. Oh no, I'm going to anger the masses on YouTube again. I'm sure that they won't be watching part 8 of some random guy's Let's Play of Final Fantasy VII. So, Barret's not happy. Of course, this goes entirely against Barret's whole everything, and somehow the Turk is able to push Barrett back, despite Barrett being a massive black man. You know, I don't know. The Turks must be doing something, you know, doing some crazy stuff, and I like that. Just talk to my secretary. What a just a big fat rich villain. Honestly, they're like like some people think they're just like lame villains. I actually really like the tropiness of it. Also, there are empty cells. Why were we put in a cell with Tifa? I mean, for actually asking a question, why were we put in the cell with Tifa? Like, it makes no sense. And apparently, if you say kinda hard, I think you get points away from Tifa, and I don't know if you can repeat it, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get enough points away with Tifa, and then later on trying to get enough points away with Aerith to try and get a mysterious third option, who you may probably already know because it's super infamous. I forgot to cut this out, because I just saw text, I'm like, oh, this seems important, I should probably leave this in. Wow. I guess not. Because normally when I'm going through, I'm like, okay, battle, I've bought these enemies before, I'll cut it out. Or menus, I can cut these out. I'm basically cutting out a lot of menus after this. Also, I'm totally just looking away from the screen. I apologize for this. But no, like, the relationship values are a big deal, and it may be because there is a trophy for getting the mysterious third option. There's also a mysterious fourth option, which I think is actually the hardest one to get, because the mysterious fourth option for later on is the, a secret party member. So, like, you don't have her from the beginning, so to get all this, like, to get enough stuff with her, you really have to work hard when you get her, and also say no to all the other girls. So yeah, we're getting, you know, stories connecting the characters. Barrett talking to Red 13. It's really good. I mean, I look at this scene, and honestly, my mind first goes to the friggin' Machine Abridged version, which this episode of Machine Abridged, where they're in the jail cells here, is by far the funniest thing ever related to Final Fantasy VII. And I've seen numerous Final Fantasy VII parodies over the years. In fact, I've seen more Final Fantasy VII parodies than actual gameplay of Final Fantasy VII, barring my own playthrough, of course. Because that's just over the years, it's like just something that, you know, being a kid of the 90s, I was just so accustomed to, right? You know? Red 13's going on for Grandpa. And Barrett's freaking out about Grandpa. He's like, what's funny? Barrett's going a little weird. But no, the Machine Abridged episode of this one is the funniest. Please watch it. I swear. But no, again, serious question. Why are we putting the cell with Tifa? I mean, it just seems putting the prisoners together equates to that being them able to brainstorm. You know, if we were across the hall, there's no way we'd be able to talk to any of them. Really, the person who screwed up and possibly cost the entire game of Final Fantasy VII for the bad guys was that random guard right there. Also, Aerith is still trying to get us on a date. And we're just like, ooh, and Tifa, you can see her expression of that. Oh, we got some love triangle. Yeah, and even Aerith's like, I can't believe they put Tifa in the same cell with one bed. I can't believe it. It's okay, we'll just have Cloud sleep on the toilet. Tifa would be the one to make Cloud sleep on a toilet. Actually, no, she wouldn't. It would probably be Aerith, all things considered. You'd think it would be, again, Tifa. But no, it's totally Aerith. And all this talk of the Promised Land. Okay, straight up. Whenever I hear Promised Land now, all I can think of is when I was a kid, I read these books about a hamster who wrote a blog called I, Freddy. And it's literally about this, it's about a hamster who writes a blog. And all the time this hamster was going on about this golden land. And, God, those were weird books, and it's a really weird thing to be brought back a memory of. So whenever I hear Promised Land, all I imagine is this stupid children's novel. Like, it's not really it's like a children's novel, but it's a novel nonetheless about a hamster. So this game, of course, is ruined for me. I can't think of the Promised Land. Although Ocarina of Time is similar with the whole Promised Land and that with the Triforce. That's a common trope. And I guess it's funny because, you know, I always thought back in the day, people would always be like, let's, you know, Cloud versus Link, before Smash Bros, of course, would always be like, oh yeah, Cloud versus Link, who would win? I never really saw the connection, but playing this game, I can sort of see the connections people would make between, say, Ocarina of Time and this game, even though they're completely different genres on completely different systems dealing with completely different issues. I can see why people would compare them, and now we can actually have Link versus Cloud, and that is amazing. Also, hey look, a blue light. What a crazy thing. Well, how convenient. Let's try and escape. We're not even going to wake up Tifa. We're just going to leave. Also, we're just trying to talk to Tifa. Well, none of these doors are open. And this dude's asleep on the job, it seems. What happened? Huh. So this section was genuinely a little surprising when I first played. Like, the very light music, and again, the music in this game is rendered on PS1 hardware, but it really is just like, or no, is it on CD actually? No, I think I might be wrong. I think it is on this. Well, I think some of it's on the CD. I don't actually know. I don't know how much of it is rendered in real time versus how much is on the CD. That'd be interesting. I'd have to look into that. But like, just like the music is very subtle, and it's subtle enough that it's creepy, you know? It's really good, but especially not just yet, but coming up. And yeah, we're like, what happened here? And I'm actually not, actually no, I was going to say I'm not super sure what's known. No, I know what happened now. Because apparently, like, one thing that I did know going into this game was that there was a big major misconception for Final Fantasy VII, which we'll get into. So if we look here, yeah, like, everyone is dead. That's a little scary. Also, there's still enemies here, but these are new guys, so I'll keep them in. They're washing machines. What a strange enemy that is actually surprisingly powerful. See, he spews poison, which is not fun. But also, if you look, there is a man inside. So this is one of those things where I really do want to know just what is this enemy going to look like in HD. Because it's actually the weird old man face in there. It's a little terrifying. Not gonna lie. Not the biggest fan. I mean, I'm a fan of how weird it is, but I'm not a fan of it, you know, in actuality. Also, because we just got Aerith back, maybe we should put some materia on her, you know? Also, she's using the old weapon. We haven't gave her a new one yet. Materia would help, definitely. So, as you see, after this point, pretty much on, I cut out all materia sorting. Mostly because it's my least favorite part of the game. Honestly, all in all. It's like, there's so much that's really good in this game, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, but you still gotta manually do all your materia, and it's like, ugh. It's so terrible. But, of course, I don't equip Aerith with her better weapons, because that would be the logical thing. And I think at this point, I just turn off encounters, because I'm like, oh, it'd be better for no encounters for thematic reasons. But at the same time, it's not, I actually need levels. This is what creeped me out. The blood here, because, I mean, mind you, me playing this as a little kid, by little kid I mean like 12 or 13, I'm not, like, I wasn't at this point super used to blood in games. Mind you, my first teen-rated game came when I was like 10, which apparently is really, really, really late for most kids nowadays who probably pick up Call of Duty as their first game now. And like, even then it was Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, which is like the lowest teen rating, and is only rated that because there's a little bit of cleavage in the game. I think at one point they say the word hell. But if you look, you can see they changed the map to make a trail of blood. Oh, and it's so good. Also, these things are out now, and they're kind of creepy. I mean, like, honestly, like, the body I'd be fine with, but it's the humanish hair that is surprised. I mean, my first thought looking at these is it's a weird human dog wolf hybrid, and my first thought is, you know, the early episodes of the original Full Metal Alchemist. After those episodes, I was genuinely distraught and couldn't continue Full Metal Alchemist, and I'm just not gonna, I just couldn't continue it past that point, because I was genuinely so distraught by that whole thing. Also, yeah, don't try and poison the, obviously, like, poison element things. It doesn't really work. Also, use Pete Cesario shower, because just give me that pizza. But as you can see, it has an item, and I'm like, oh, yo, I want this item. So this is my grinding method for getting items. It's usually, oh, we got Deadly Waste. That's what it is. Gehegana, that sounds like, it's like from Skullgirls. It's the same thing for the underworld. It's like Gehenna. Gehenna is some sort of underworld thing. Also, don't try to do Tifa's Limit Break with the speed up on. It's not worth it, my friends. But Gehenna is like crazy, otherworldly, like afterworld. But if you look on the floor there in battle, they had the bloodstains even. What a nice attention to detail. It's so good. Also, hey, these items that we didn't pick up. Because guess what? This time you actually got to follow them. And they're, again, genuinely really creepy. So leveling up Tifa's, Aerith's Limit Break is really tough, because I think you have to, with other ones it's based on if you kill an enemy with it, but look, there's even scratch marks on the wall, so good. But like, I don't even know how to level up Aerith's Limit Break, I'm gonna be super honest. I don't think I've even done it yet, because it's based on the number of kills normally. You can't really get kills with healing winds, so let's go here and save Aru, because honestly, that's gonna be very important. Because, look, like, okay, be honest here. You look down, you see a trail of blood leading upstairs, and there's a save point in front of you. What is your first thought? Be honest, it's boss fight. Now, not exactly in this case. Close, but no cigar. So I'm just saving here. Always good to keep those saves rolling. But, yeah, you know, follow him upstairs. And I did cut out a battle there. It was just another battle with the, washing machine men and one of the doggos. So we broke its legs fairly quickly and are continuing onward. And the trail of blood surprisingly stops at the top of the stairs, which is really weird considering we look here and, oh my god, what do you know? What's his face? The president of Shinra himself is dead. Who we thought would probably be the final boss of this section is no more. So this sword, though, is Sephiroth's. That's crazy. Now, so the phrase only Sephiroth can use that sword, I actually heard someone once call them out saying, like, why? But then at the same time, have you seen how long Sephiroth's sword is? Like, there's a famous long katana called the washing pole. Sephiroth's is like a washing pole and a half. It's utterly insane. So, like, yeah, I could see why only Sephiroth could use it. Mind you, looking at how long it is, that has to be not only through President Shinra, but through the entire ground, probably onto the next floor, you know? So, it's crazy. But yeah, and I was like, sort of like, is Sephiroth a good guy because he's trying to not get into the promised land? But no! It's just there's multiple bad guys. But yes, someone also diddled the president, meaning he has a son. No one's heard him bleed or cry. He's been assigned somewhere else for a long time. I only know his name. That's really funny, Red 13. That's like, I don't know, it sort of like continues the whole doofy, I only know his name. I don't know what voice they're gonna go for him in the remake, because he's not in Advent Children as far as I'm aware. I don't think we've ever heard him voiced in anything. Because I don't think he's in, I mean, I haven't played Crisis Core. I don't think I can ever play Crisis Core because of how it's PSP physical only, you know? Also, this is so cool. This is the roll call, where it's just like, I'm Cloud, I'm Aerith, I'm fuck, whatever. It's such a good Motley Crue sort of thing. What a crew. Yeah, you know. Rufus is actually, I like Rufus. I do, actually. He's he's not a, I don't know. He's one of these characters that, he's obviously a bad guy. But he's kind of the sort of bad guy that you almost feel like doesn't, he likes being a bad guy, and he knows it's bad, but he's not evilly intentioned. He's just selfish, but not in a terrible, I don't even know. I don't, honestly, he doesn't bother me so much, you know? And I think that's kind of the point, you know? I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird. Maybe it's because, again, I'm just used to the whole machine-abridged version of him with a wonderful, almost Texan drawl, and it works, you know? It's good. But this whole section is actually again, this is all, we're at the top now, and the only place to go out after the top is to go down to the bottom, of course. So, we gotta let Aerith escape, though, because she's pretty important, you know? She's kind of more important than we let on. So, what do we do then? Look at this, like, rival battle, which we're gonna see in a sec, but just not yet. This sort of, like, Dante-Virgil rival battle. Gonna be great. So, Aerith just thought of something, and I guess this is, like, kind of realistic in the way that it's, like, you know, how it's, like, you know, retreating and then splitting up the party, and at this point, you do have to, she says check your equipment. So you can remove Cloud and Tifa's materia and equipment, which is really nice. And then from here on, you then go and we'll do it with Aerith instead, which is actually super nice because, like, this doesn't happen often, but it happens sometimes in the plot. It doesn't happen at one specific point, which you probably know, but that's okay. But no, it's nice that they let you just do that. The fact that you don't have to worry about actually having it, I mean, you can't have it equipped on all characters anyways, so it doesn't matter. But it's nice that they, you know, give you the option for sure. I mean, otherwise you'd be screwed, especially because of what's coming up. Also, this is a great instance of perspective. You saw how big that elevator is, right? Nope, it's actually, like, much, much larger. And this is, look at this perspective. Like, you didn't even know there was glass there because they didn't have it. But by having that glass shattering effect, you can do this. It is so good. So this is a fight with this roller mech. I don't know what it's called. Again, these guys don't have super memorable names. Like, you can bring up the menu to look at them, but the fact that they're not default on is actually kind of a negative in my opinion. So you can't hit it with physical attacks, except for some reason Sledfang, because I guess he just zoops on through. So of course you're going to want to be using magic. Barrett can hit it natively, but of course you cannot use it with Red 13's physical or Aerith's physical, which you should really never use unless you need to weaken an enemy by like 10 hit points. This dude isn't tough, honestly. He's pretty much what you'd expect. He puts his arms behind him like Sonic the Hedgehog, though, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's a really well-designed boss, having the machine gun fingers and then like a head with the three things. It's a cool design, and I really enjoy it. But this isn't a fight you should lose. Like, I think this is pretty much designed to be like, no matter what you do, you know, at this point, you're pretty much gonna win unless you're just really, really bad with the materia and just straight up put it on like nobody, you know, and then you're stuck in this fight just using physicals. Even then, you could probably still win. He's not that powerful. Watch as I say this, so I'm gonna get thousands of comments from people saying like, oh my god, this dude killed me 5 times when I was a child. Probably because if you died in this RPG, it's just because you didn't know how to read or understand mechanics. I remember I used to play, when I was little, I played Lufia 2 on the Super Nintendo. And I just remember I didn't understand how equipment worked. So I unequipped all my equipment thinking this is better because this way I can equip. I thought by unequipping all of them, I was able to equip them all. I was dumb. And then my babysitter's son who was there was like, oh my god, dude. There's a reason you're doing no damage, you know. And if you know Lufia 2, you know I wouldn't get far in the game at all. But we almost did it. I like how it's like actually like coming apart. You know, back in the day, for something like that, you know, you didn't need actually multiple sprites or one sprite with multiple layers and you go layer by layer. But I like, you know, once it transitioned to 3D with Final Fantasy, you could just start doing stuff like, you know, actually having it go and just move the model, which is good. You know, there's pros and cons to 3D for sure. You know, for example, make one model and just move it, which is nice. But at the same time, if you need to do changes to a model, it's easier to put changes on, stationary changes on a 2D sprite, you know, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But no, that's not the end, because it broke off and there's a second one, this little rotating thing. It's this, again, it's not tough. Even though it's a two-first kind of boss fight, it really doesn't even feel like it. I mean, especially with the fact that you have to have Aerith with you. And Aerith's limit break charges from being hit, right? So it's like, you're gonna get your heals. You're gonna be good. And this dude has his AB cannon, which is just like, oh no, pew pew, 100 damage, which it looks kind of bad on paper, and it puts him to sleep, so that kind of sucks. But no, it's like you have so much HP, you have 3 dudes, there's one of him. It's cool. Actually, you know what, honestly, the entire, like, intro area, I really feel like there's very little challenge. It's pretty much made so that you can get through it, which I think was done on purpose, because, of course, it's a PlayStation 1. At this time, you know, PlayStation, it's new. For RPGs are not a known thing for the console, you know, so we're bringing it to a whole new generation, with just the idea of, you know, RPGs and turn-based gameplay. It's all new. It's all new for the PlayStation generation, which is kind of weird to think about. I don't know. Being a kid who grew up with Nintendo and stuff, like, you know, I played, even when the N64 and PS1 were out, I played mostly Super Nintendo as a kid. And yeah, I was surrounded by many JRPGs, some of which I don't even remember the names of now, but played. And it's just, to me, a genre that, I don't know. I mean, I've always understood. I mean, mind you, I couldn't read back, like, when I say I was a kid, I mean, I was a kid playing these. Even if I couldn't read them, I was still able to enjoy them, you know? Mostly because you don't have to worry about total gameplay control, you know? Like, Final Fantasy is one thing. Actually, Final Fantasy VI, I remember. I remember getting to the desert in front of Figaro Castle, and just straight up, of course this was 3 on the Super Nintendo, and I was kept being killed by the desert stingrays, and I got to a point where I just couldn't win, and I couldn't get through. And now that I'm playing as an adult, I'm like, I don't know why I couldn't. Why was I dying so badly? Might come down to equipment. Didn't really get that as a kid. Equipment and me didn't really mesh. So you can remove materia from your party members, which is really nice, which I just did there. And then you can do up Cloud, which I just did there, and you didn't see because it's a lot easier that way. Also, seeing the options button makes me mad because I still hate that button. What was wrong with start? What was wrong with start? But here we go. This is one of like a couple rival fights. You know, there's a good many in this game, I'd say. There's, you know, a lot of parallels in terms of characters. I don't know if I would classify Cloud and Rufus as one, but I could see that. Also, he is a dog, and it's really weird. I don't know where this doggo came from. Straight up. I mean, I guess it would make sense for him to sort of have it because, hey, it's you know, he's rich. He can afford one. I think it's a robot looking at it, but I don't know. And we poisoned it just to make our lives a little easier. Casting Barrier, of course, puts up defense, which sucks. It's not Pyramid. My first thought was it was a stronger Pyramid, but it's totally not. Magic Barrier does pretty much that. It shields magic damage. So you want to kill the dog first, obviously. For most boss fights in games like these, you know, you want to get rid of any sort of companions before the boss. There's only a few examples where I can think of where you don't recommend that, because there are some, you know, that heavily punish you for defeating all the minions, you know, in previous Final Fantasy games at least. You know, I'm looking at the whole CPU from Final Fantasy IV, and how if you kill both the nodes, then it will start going crazy. Also, dude's just kind of laughing at us. And I'm like, I just came here to have a good time, and I'm honestly feeling so attacked right now. You know? Can't even hit him, though. What are we? It's because we have the tiny, tiny, tiny baby blade. I mean, he has a gun. At any point here, he could shoot us. Really, honestly, he could shoot us. I'm just going to use a grenade, because if he's just... I'm not a grenade, a potion. Because if he just keeps laughing at us... Oh, there we go, see? It's like, was that so hard, sir? You have a double-barrel shotgun, which you can use, you know? And he's going to do that again. So you know what? He's bringing a gun to a sword fight, while I'm bringing a grenade to a gunfight. And now I'm bringing a sword. A sword that will render him asunder with this kanji, which apparently isn't even like the right kanji. Like, looking at it in later versions, it looks so different, you know? There he goes. Goodbye. You were literally nothing, so that's fine. Got a Protect Vest and a Guard Source. Very nice. I think Protect Vest in particular is actually very nice. And at this point, I'm like, okay, cutscene? Oh, no, we're good. So we gotta escape now. Listen to this, like, it's still playing, you know, the battle music. Oh, it's so good when the battle music keeps playing and you're, like, out in the field and you're like, okay, something's not exactly right if it's happening. Of course, I'm thinking, like, oh, I wonder if I can take Sephiroth's sword. Also, there's no enemies in this sequence, thank God. They wouldn't throw you from a boss fight into rooms with enemies, because that would just be cruel. No, you can't take Sephiroth's sword, but makes you wonder, why would Sephiroth leave his sword? Makes you wonder. But yeah, no, they got out just fine, it seems. And we are right behind, I swear. Barrett's saying he'll go on ahead. Are you sure that's the best idea? Shooting all the guards out there. He's like, nope. That can't really happen. This is such a good sequence, though. This sequence really, you could tell, you know, influenced a lot of stuff with, the, you know, Final Fantasy VII, the image of Final Fantasy VII coming up. A lot of people think it's pretty edgy. I don't know. I feel like this comes from a time when these ideas of edginess weren't really a thing. You'll see what I mean when we get to it after. But no, they were there. Definitely didn't take that long to get down. And Cloud's coming. Or is he? Maybe we have a better idea. So yeah, this section here is, look at this great CGI. I actually love it. I love it so much. But oh my god, this image here. Also look at Tifa's jiggliness. I'm sure that turned a couple boys into men. So, Cloud steals a Harley, and it's actually called a Harley. Like it's a Harley Davidson bike. But not a Harley Davidson, it's a Harley something else. And like he steals a bike. And that's why Cloud in Advent Children has a sword bike, which is admittedly super cool. Because he just hops on a motorcycle and steals it here and says, hey, I like motorcycles, I guess. Why not? Also, the little tuk-tuk or whatever that the main party's in. This section you actually have to play. Yeah. Also, Cloud's model here is somehow even worse. So you actually have to, like, unequip party members and do crazy stuff here. It's like, I'm surprised. So surprised, I end up cutting it out because I actually do a lot of party farming. So your party members all have HP, as you can see, using the wonderful artwork, which you don't really see much in the game proper. Surprising. So this section here, you just gotta save them, right? What do? You just have to swipe them. Swipe left and swipe right. Now this game here was popular enough to actually get an entire spin-off of its own called Final Fantasy VII G-Bike, which was not a smartphone game, but a regular, like, flip phone game in Japan. Because that was the thing. We never really got many flip phone games. There were some. There were some, like Sonic Unleashed and God of War got ones, and they're very strange. But this one got an actually really surprisingly HD looking one. It was really interesting because, like, even though it was a flip phone game, you actually had characters using HD versions of their original design. So, like, the first time people really got to see a true sort of HD looking Cloud in his original design in 3D was this G-Bike game. And, like, there's also unlockable characters and more bikes, and I think you can get, like, a chocobo thing, and I think there's, like, ultimates, and because it's an extended version. It's a whole game about biking, you know, which is cool. I'm happy about that. Of course, it also got other mini games got the similar treatment. Final Fantasy VII Snowboarding got an entire release, which we'll get to later, much later, surprisingly. But no, this section's really cool. It's very, again, definitive of Final Fantasy VII. One of the things I'm really excited for with the remake is they totally said, we know people love the minigames of 7. Like, that's one thing about 7 that, you know, or Final Fantasy in general, is the mini games that distract from the main plot, or work together with the main plot, can come together to make a much better package. So, you know, in saying, like, we definitely don't want to remove a section like this, you know, I'm happy about that. But it wouldn't be a section thing without a boss. And this is, just hopping out of the bikes. This is gonna be, I mean, you can't even see the city, but imagine like this with the city actually there. Because they're in the city, right? They're not meant to actually be like on the total outskirts just yet. And I'm so excited to see this with proper graphics, man. It's gonna be amazing. As long as they keep the sort of 90s-ness. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want them to almost even take it too seriously. I trust Square Enix, I really do. I feel like, you know, looking at what they did with 15, it still has the sort of feels of Final Fantasy 7, or not 7, but Final Fantasy in general, while making it more Western. I hope the remake for 7 is similar, but more Japanese style, you know? Because, like, one of my big problems is the de-Japanization of games. Making games more and more Western to fit for Western tastes. Because, honestly, Metal Gear Solid 5 left the biggest sore in my mouth, you know? It's like, what was wrong with the previous Metal Gear entries? Really? And the gameplay of it was fine, but why did you have to go the Western games story of, no, don't put in a story, you know? It's like, just keep it hidden from players. I hate that, you know? As one of the reasons I really can't get into Dark Souls, I'm a lame gamer. I want my story to be fed to me on a golden platter. I want hour-and-a-half long cutscenes. Seriously, I'm fine with that. You know, I want the stupidly, as long as there's a skip button. Let's not be too unreasonable here. I like the old school style of storytelling. I know a lot of people say, it's 2016 and you're still getting your stories told to you like a baby. You know, it's like, I don't know. I prefer the classic storytelling methods, you know. That's why when people are saying like, oh yeah, you know, whatever game won't have many cutscenes because the story will be told in-game. And I'm like, wow, that sounds actually terrible. You know? Just give me a dumb normal game. You know, I don't know. I'm feeling like so much today is just they're going the wrong way with games, but of course I'm not the popular opinion. At least I'll always have classics and indies who totally understand how to actually make games. And of course, like, this dude hits me with a big attack and I'm like, ow, that hurt, but at the same time it also burst all my limit gauges, so it's like, okay, I'll take it. But there we go. That is the last boss of at least this section of Midgar. And I'm surprised I got Mind Blow this late. I think by this time I already had Mind Blow with Barret. But then again, I wasn't using Barret as much. Mind Blow is a limit that attacks the SP, which is good to have for any sort of SP sort of thing. But that's pretty rare unless you know what you're doing. Oh, but man, how it was like night when you're in there. Now it's like you can see the sun rising, you see the stars. Beautiful stuff in this game. You know, like, I mean, it's not really a skybox, but it's close enough. You know, like it's a beautiful setting. Again, like this. Again, I'm just so excited to see how things are gonna look in the remake. I'm worried though. People are gonna come back to this Let's Play years later once the remake out and watch it be terrible, and people are gonna be like, "Woo, you had no idea, man." They cut out this whole section and replaced it with just straight up ripped from Final Fantasy 13 or something like that. But no, that's it. We climbed down the hook and we're outside. We're outside the pizza, you know? We can talk to people here, and I think the first person you talk to, you get the choice of getting relationship points with them. Red 13 has no relationship points, so you don't care about him. I mean, he's already man's best friend, so you just give her the nonchalant answers and you're good. Barret, you want to be super reassuring with Barret because he's your best friend, of course. Even though you just kind of met him, I don't know why you'd say let's stay here for a while. I think it's if you accidentally walk off and then you haven't talked to them yet. But so Barret's shadowboxing. It's pretty powerful. And Barrett was so excited to be the leader, but nope, guess not. So next, we have to head to Calm, which is a nice name for a town right by the big scary city, you know? It makes sense. So of course, more party choosing. I try to keep them pretty closely leveled. I try to keep them... Usually I try to bring them up to Cloud -2 and try to keep them all at that. And then as Cloud levels up, I try to keep leveling them up. It's tough. It's not impossible. And you kind of do want... This is one of those games where you do want to keep everyone kind of leveled up pretty evenly. Because you do want to try and get them to be at least... you want to use them for stuff. Because even though they're naturally, good, like, you can change them up and stuff, but you can use them however, so... It's a pretty non-linear game with how you want to progress, if you want Cloud to be a mage or whoever to be whatever. But we got some enemies out here in the field, and these two just, I look at them and I just see the classic sort of, what are those called? The ride armor mech things from Final Fantasy VI. Those things are cool. God, the Magitech armor. That's something that honestly, and actually Nomura came out recently and said that he does want to look into a remake of Final Fantasy V and VI, both of them, which is really cool. Even though I love 5, I don't think I'd super appreciate a remake of 5. I think I like 5 as it is because I like it being 2D yieldy sprite basedy. Actually, I did find online too, someone was selling Final Fantasy V for the Super Nintendo actually on a cartridge, like translated into English. Like it's a reproduction cartridge, and I was thinking of getting that. I think if I ever do a Let's Play of 5, then I might do it on that, because then it'll be on an actual TV and stuff. But yeah, so it's like, I'd love to see a remake of 6, because the ride, honestly, and you can get the Magitech armor in the Final Fantasy MMO, but like, that's 14, A Realm Reborn, but I can't play MMOs, so it's fine. Look at these enemies, though. Look at these, like, weird, friggin', what are these called? Roadsters? Roadhogs? I love them. The long arms on the Harley bikes, and they're great. Great enemy design. I think if I recall correctly, these guys will give you a enemy skill too. I could be wrong about this, and I think it's either going to be rare or you actually have to force it on them with a later skill that lets you force enemies to use certain moves. We'll get to that later. That's a whole section that I'll be cutting up quite a bit. But thank you all for watching, guys, and next time we'll be back for some more Final Fantasy VII, where we head into Calm. We're out of Midgar. We're on to, like, kind of not really the second half, but the second part of the game. The second arc, if you will. So thank you all for watching, and see you then. Ciao.